Hello, welcome back to Hero Training. Put on your capes and masks and let's go. Last week we talked about self-control. We talked about taking a deep breath if you were upset. We talked about counting to 10 to help you calm down. This week our focus is going to be on creative, doing something in a new way. How are you creative? I know all of you can be very creative. Why do you think it's good for us to be creative? Have you ever solved a problem with a creative solution? Maybe you and your brother both wanted the last cookie and there was only one left. What do you think you could do if there was only one cookie? Do you think you could share it with each other, break it in half, and each person could have part of it? Or maybe you could think of another creative solution. Today, we're going to read a story about how God was so creative when He created the earth. In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing to hear, nothing to feel, nothing to see. Only emptiness and darkness and nothing but nothing. But God was there. And God had a wonderful plan. I'll take this emptiness, God said, and I'll fill it up. Out of the darkness, I'm going to make light. And out of the nothing, I'm going to make everything. Like a mommy bird flutters her wings over her eggs to help her babies hatch, God hovered over the deep, silent darkness. He was making life happen. God spoke. That's all. And whatever He said, it happened. God said, "Hello, light." And light shone into the darkness. God called the day light, and the darkness night. "You're good," God said. And they were. Then God said, "Hello, sea. Hello, sky." And a great space opened up, wide and deep and high. "You're good," God said. And they were. Then God said, "Hello, land." And there, splashing up through the oceans, came cliffs, mountains, sandy beaches. "You're good," God said. And they were. "Hello, trees," God said. "Hello, grasses and flowers." And everything everywhere burst into life. He made buds bud, shoots shoot, flowers flower. "You're good," God said. And they were. "Hello, stars," God said. "Hello, sun. Hello, moon." And whizzing into the darkness came fiery globes, spinning around and around, whirling orange and purple and golden planets. "You're good," God said. And they were. "Hello, birds," God said. And with a fluttering and flapping and chirping and singing, birds filled the skies. "Hello, fish," God said. And with a darting and dashing and wiggling and splashing, fish filled the seas. "You're good," God said. And they were. Then God said, "Hello, animals." And everyone came out to play. The earth was filled with noisy noises, growling and gobbling and snapping and snorting and happy scuffling. "You're good," God said. And they were. God saw all that He had made and loved them. And they were lovely because He loved them. But God saved the best for last. From the beginning, God had a shining dream in His heart. He would make people to share His forever happiness. They would be His children, and the world would be their perfect home. So God breathed life into Adam and Eve. When they opened their eyes, the first thing they ever saw was God's face. And when God saw them, He was like a new dad. "You look like me," He said. "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever made." God loved them with all of His heart, and they were lovely because He loved them. And Adam and Eve joined in the song of the stars and the streams and the wind and the trees, the wonderful song of love to the one who made them. Their hearts were filled with happiness, and nothing ever made them sad or lonely or sick or afraid. God looked at everything He had made. "Perfect," He said, and it was. But all the stars and the mountains and the oceans and galaxies and everything were nothing compared to how much God loved His children. He would move heaven and earth to be near them, always. Whatever happened, whatever it cost Him, He would always love them. And so it was that the wonderful love story began. In that story that we read, you saw all the things that God created. He was so creative when he made the animals and the sea and the ocean and the people that he created. What are some other ways that Jesus was creative? I bet you can find some other Bible stories that Jesus was being creative. How can we use our creativity to help others? This week our memory verse is, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Genesis 1:1. That's our memory verse that I want you to try and learn this week. You also have your coloring sheets that you can color with the memory verse on them. If you met one or more of your challenges from last week, make sure you see Mr. Martin or myself so we can get that sticker for you. Here are your challenges for this week. Number 1, memorize this week's verse. Number 2, build an invention or a creation out of materials and send me a picture so I can see how creative that you are. Number 3, brainstorm 5 ways to solve a problem. And number 4, learn about the days of creation. We read a creation story from one of my Bible story books, but I bet you have another Bible story book that you can read the creation story from too. I want to show you an example of how Bryn was being creative this week. She took a box and made it into a birdhouse, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that birdhouse. What is this right here, Bryn?
They're nests.
Okay, and what about this part?
That's their bird bath. This is their counter. This is where they get their water. And this is where they get their food.
Okay, and what about on the bottom down here?
Down here's a play area, and these are some trees, and there's a lake down here.
All right, so you saw what Bryn did this week to be creative. I know you can do something very creative as well. One of the best things about being creative is using the creativity that God gave us to find ways to love and help others. That could be giving someone one of your art projects, finding a solution to a problem in your family, and lots of other creative things. I can't wait to hear about all the creative things you do this week. Good luck!